right, thank you very much. We are going into the draft here, and as you have said it already right, it is a best of 5, so there is plenty of time, but we have seen in Europe Team Secret taking a 3-0 as fast as they had to head somewhere else, so it was just crazy. We see here the bans coming up in that second matchup, and we do see Iraqi Zoro going for that Arden ban, Flash X is going for the Sky ban, so Sirius banning Arden, Alliance banning Sky, and the first pick called from Iraqi Zoro again, Blackfeather, Rome. Blackfeather, is that a guy which can take here the second win for GankStars Sirius?
Yeah, and because the GankStars Sirius team has been playing so well so far, we can see even if they have this Blackfeather, they're gonna make sure that their jungle duel will be balanced out. They will make sure as long as they're putting enough pressure on the other team, if Blackfeather can have his free farm throughout the mid to late game, they have a good chance of fighting this Alliance team. With Alliance, always you have to notice when you're watching these Alliance games is they do tend to make little faults in the early game. They do they make it very close. It's not to a point where they're ever snowballing, but they do suffer from minor difficulties in the early game. It's their late game that comes back. So GankStars' serious approach to this is we're going to grab late game heroes just to make sure we can finish you guys off.
Alright, Alliance is going to grab Catherine and Castrel. So this time we won't see anyone playing Castrel from GankStars Sirius, but they are like, hey, you know what, we are going for Glaive and Vox. Let's wait for the last pick, but looking at the draft for now, GankStars Sirius here with their draft completed, Blackfeather, Glaive and Vox. Looks pretty strong to me. Alliance has a Castrel and a Catherine, which is pretty good as well. So what would you actually think could be here the last pick, Rome?
The last pick here is going to be quite difficult because looking at the comp coming out of GankStars Sirius, they have this Blackfeather, but most likely it's going to be Blackfeather with a Roam Glaive in the jungle, and Vox is going to be up in the lane. If this Alliance team is able to make sure that they win that early game, they'll probably try and secure up this Ringo pick as their last one.
Alright, we will see. Foko Jester, any disagreement here or agreement, Ringo?
Well, Ringo could definitely do some work. We've seen him with numerous wins and some big strengths to go with it. So if it would actually be the Ringo, that would be Ringo, Catherine, Kestrel, double range. That could absolutely do some great work on the back of a Catherine stun, a Catherine silence. You get your Hellfire Brew in there because it buys you enough time. You're not going to have to worry about any kind of stuns. You got a one-shot to maybe finish somebody off. The susceptibility, though, of it for that one is you don't have the Arden for a gauntlet. Your defensive capabilities, if you get rushed down on the Ringo or the Kestrel, are fairly limited. So if it is going to be a Ringo, I mean, they got to really get some aggression going because game number 1 was pretty flat.
Alright, and Tasty Bacon, what do you think could be the last pick from Alliance looking at the draft so far?
I mean, I definitely is the possibility of it being that Ringo. I would actually really like to see a Scarf come out just because we haven't really seen a whole lot of Scarf in this tournament, but it does have a very solid win rate, especially if a game goes into that late stages, past 20 minutes. I actually don't think Scarf has been defeated post 20 minutes, and we are going to be seeing
I guess
I did not see the pick before I said it. I just want to make that perfectly clear to everyone.
Alright, so that is the final draft. We are kicking off the match and throwing it to the analyst for the last question here. Scarf, is that the game changer for Alliance with Kestrel and Catherine?
I have a feeling that they will run into a lot of problems this game, just because you have this Glaive with an Afterburn that's able to dive deep and reposition this Scarf, and then you have Blackfeather that's going to be able to use that Rose offensive, jump to that backline. I feel like this game is going to be a lot dependent on how well the reflex blocks are pretty much used on the side of Team Alliance, and if they're not able to do it on time, GankStars Sirius does have an advantage in this game.
Alright. Let's throw it to the casters. Foko Jester, Tasty Bacon, second match of the finals, North America, first qualifier. Take it away, guys.
So, Mr. Bacon, I'm going to just throw it to you here for a moment because you said we haven't seen any Scarf, but EU actually had some really fun times with Scarf earlier today. Maybe these guys were watching a bit of that and saying, all right, we're thinking like Tasty Bacon, we're going to get a Scarf into this. I'm holding reservations, but good call, man.
I'm not 100% sure if it's the best pick into this composition of GankStars, but I just love the pick in general because, again, it has had a really strong win rate thus far throughout the VGL, especially if a game goes late. You know, we saw GankStars really shy away from the aggression in game number 1, but with the glaive, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out with a lot of aggression, although they're the ones actually being aggressed on now. But going back to the Scarf pick, you know, if the game goes late without a lot of kills being picked up, Scarf can completely take over a game.
Yeah, late game Scarf can absolutely be terrifying. Gabe Vizzle is showing us Glaive Vizzle. Yeah, that's right. You heard that right. But with that roam, we'll have to see if it works out. Unfortunately, we do lose out the Black Feather. Cole the Meek, totally not throwing at all. But he is going to be the first blood, and Iraqi Zoro is going to be trapped under that turret. Now, Gabe Vizzle is going to come in. He gets that stun on top of Mish, and this is something that you're probably going to see a lot more of. If Gabe Vizzle can come in, especially with Iraqi Zoro, if they're in a good position, it's pretty easy to rush down the little dragon.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the big things we have to watch throughout the game is, you know, how well GankStars can get onto that backline, because a Scarf Kestrel is a very, very strong backline, but a very squishy backline at that. So the itemization is going to be really important to keep an eye on as well. Really did not like the itemization from I Love Joseph in game number 1, but now with the Kestrel going for a lot more damage than he went for on the Kashka, as there's 3 weapon blades in the inventory to start things off.
Yeah, that's going to be punching a pretty good hit right here. So Flash, unfortunately, they find 3 of GankStars down here. Cole the Meek is not going to die on that one. Wow, he came down to an inch of his life. Flash is even coming back. I'm not entirely too confident he's going to get too much done there, but Cole the Meek living through that one puts a point on the board and puts this to 1-1. Mish still in that lane. He's dealing with a pushed up creep wave, so he's not really going to go anywhere. He has to deal with the minions, and now Flash coming in. Could Flash actually make a play here?
And they're going to get the stun, but taking up that damage from the turret is actually going to mean that that's a trade that slightly goes in favor of Iraqi, although that extra damage from Mish at the end slowly started to turn that one back. But Iraqi Zoro, Vox is one of his most played heroes, as, oh my goodness, Gabe Vizzle just runs right over Flash X and instantly gets the kill. Really aggressive move from Gabe with the boots being used into the afterburn, and now they're going to try and chase down I Love Joseph.
Ooh, Iraqi Zoro is doing some really good footwork there in the lane, but you're right, I Love Joseph, you rush down these guys, they do not have escapes. Guess what? They can go straight to Mish because he's so far forward here as well. But Mish, he's onto it. He's just going to look for getaway. Is he going to back, or is he going to come back to lane after things fall down? Will he go for the backs? They're not there yet, although we did just have the big guy respawn. You can see the invade happening here as well. Flash X getting bullied out by Cole the Meek and Gabe Vizzle. They're going to take those doubles. And again, just a little bit better stuff coming up from GankStars here.
Yeah, this early game is definitely going the favor of GankStars, but you know, Alliance, they want this game to go late. So if they can continue to hold off, they should be in a good position for Mish to carry this one. And it's not going to be entirely reliant on Mish this time, because I Love Joseph does actually have some damage here. But GankStars, once again, going for the early objective control, taking that gold miner with a tiny gold payout. I believe it was 70. It was 74 there. I think they got it at 78 in game number 1. So very similar timings for taking that first gold mine, liking to get it right away.
Well, it does kind of fit their MO. GankStars has done that twice in a row now, taking some early gold mines. And, you know, every little bit early game does count, because that will just push you into a better position here for mid. And if you look at the gold, I mean, again, slightly edging out here for GankStars, but overall still pretty neck and neck. More kills than we had the first 10 minutes of the last game. So these guys are really looking for blood this round. Joseph got rushed down to half. Gabe Vizzle now has to retreat there as well. Could be looking just for a cooldown reset. He might try to jump Flash, although it's probably not the best of ideas.
Cole is going to get stunned up, but will be able to get away from this as the Glimmer shots did not connect. You mentioned more kills than we had in the first 10 minutes of game number 1. We have over more than half the amount of kills that we had in the entirety of game 1, but they are going to get a nice collapse onto Meek because Mish was taking away those back camps, but they're not quite going to get a kill. They one-shot one kill, just not enough, as GankStars are able to escape from this, but Alliance, they're stealing away jungle camps. Honestly, both teams are sort of... I think they're spending more time in their opponent's jungle than they are in their own. As FlashX just going to try and be a nuisance to Iraqi Zoro in the lane, stalling out the minions for Mish to get back so he doesn't lose any to the turret.
Well, that's one of the bigger advantages you have when you do play that Scarf. You push up against him, he just puts down the goop, lights it on fire, and takes home a pretty significant paycheck out of it. Gold mine's being taken here. Iraqi Zoro, does he have that candy? Is there any candy? There's no candy at all. That's going to be the gold mine, but they pay for it there by losing out the Catherine. Another kill going to GSS, but I Love Joseph nearly takes the 2-for-1 trade. Iraqi Zoro will still survive through that one, but 1 for 2. Goldmine did actually swap over, and I'm not entirely confident GankStars is going to do anything about it for now.
Yeah, looks like they are just going to leave that one. You don't want to run the risk of Mish just coming down and lighting everything on fire while you're trying to take that gold miner for another tiny gold payout. So they are going to leave it 5-2 in favor of GankStars, but the gold is actually in Alliance's favor. But now that's going to be a big gank onto Mish with Gabe Vizzle on that afterburn coming through, and Iraqi Zoro will finish that one off. FlashX not quite able to get there in time to save his laner.
Well, yeah, when you're that far forward, Mish, you are susceptible to going down. 3v2 for the defense. If Alliance is going to stay anywhere forward, they are susceptible to getting jumped here as well. Turrets are rather healthy, at least for Alliance. Can't see the same for the GankStars, but there's a kill as Kestrel does actually get right up against that wall. But nice pickup here. That's going to be 2 kills into Mish's pocket, and a little bit of a big overextension coming out there from GankStars.
Yeah, I don't think they were quite expecting Mish to get back into position so quickly, as he is able to pick up, like you mentioned, both of those kills, and then throwing down the goop and setting it on... Can we even call it on fire with the tier 3 scarf skin?
The fire's so hot that it's cold. Yep.
Yeah, but you can't really say setting it on ice.
Crossfire.
I mean, it looks more like a whirlpool than anything else to me.
He set it ablaze. He turned up the heat. I don't know. You can say anything you really want.
Hey, but he's not. It's ice. You're not turning up the heat by throwing ice at people.
Have you ever turned on a stove and it's blue instead of, orangish? Yeah, it happens. You can have blue fire. Just get over it, Bacon.
You can have blue fire, but that's not fire. It's ice. It's specifically ice.
7 kills to 4, 14,000 gold apiece as we move on from this pointless debate. Gold mine's now going to be coming in.
These are the important things.
No, it's really not. There's nothing to stop the gold mine from going down. That's going to be a decent payoff to break the deadlock a little bit here. GankStars up in kills, but not a significant advantage. Something tells me Mish is actually not showing there of his own volition.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there might be some kind of issue here. Hopefully it is something that Mish can get taken care of quickly, but they are going to be trying to just defend this turret. Now it looks like Flash X. Nope, he is going to start moving, but we are going to possibly have a pause come out from Mish for Mish.
This is your fault, Bacon. You talked about fire not being hot, and now he's given up playing Scarf.
See, he realized that he was firing out ice, and it actually chilled his veins so much that he stopped moving because it was ice and not fire.
Do we have any updates there from the desk back at home base?
We do currently not know what the issue is. We did pause, as you guys can see. So if you wonder what that big black screen with the white paused message is, it does mean that we can actually pause the game for all those people who are tuning in the first time. So we basically are waiting and investigating, currently contacting the captain of Alliance to see what is happening. So I would just throw the sticky ball, over to Rome and ask him how he sees this matchup currently going, particularly this match.
This match so far is actually really balanced between both teams, but I do think that once this Glaive and this Black Feather are able to get more items up, they're just going to try and single out either this Kestrel or this Scarf. They have so much potential in terms of their quick gap closers, and I don't think Mish on Scarf can do too much about it. True, he does have that stun coming out of Catherine. He has that CC coming out. But in terms of like the damage coming out of the Kestrel or the Scarf, it's very skill shot based. And with Vox standing in that back line, I'm pretty sure that once he shoots that ultimate off, the entire team is going to book it in and just eliminate the Alliance team.
All right. That being said, sorry to interrupt you. You can finish your last sentence while we unpause the match because we have the information that everything should be fine, Rome.
I'm good. I'm excited to see this match. Keep going.
Oh, he's moving! He's moving! The package has landed, the internet is good, and Mish is back into the fold.
I just want to point out that Mish was the only player on Alliance that didn't have any issues before the game started.
Bad luck fairy strikes again.
So now all 3 members of Alliance have had something happen to them, so we should be good from here on out.
Well, on that note, huge shout out to the Halcyon Hammers. I mean, they basically did Mario Kart to get to I Love Joseph's house, and the winner was able to deliver a device that actually allows him to play the game. So huge shout out to the community for making that happen.
Yeah, everyone in the community wanted to see this game happen with each team playing at their best. So, like you said, a really, really big community effort to make that happen from Halcyon Hammers. Able to help out a player in need, even from an opposing organization, just to get the best game and the best match possible for you, the viewers, as we are sitting at 7-4 in favor of GankStars with a slight gold lead, about 500 gold in their favor. But, again, this is that scaling composition again from Alliance, and much more damage this time around than what we saw in game number 1. However, looking over on the other side, Iraqi Zoro goes for a Shatter Glass as his second item on Vox. I'm still not a huge fan of not taking the Broken Myth as item number 2, but I at least like Shatter Glass a lot better than Eve of Harvest as the second item for him.
Well, I mean, it's a huge hit to his CEP. It goes up, a pretty significant amount. So everything that he does cast will have a much more impactful change when it comes to some of the health here from some of these guys. So I mean, yeah, you might not like it, but Iraqi Zoro, I mean, when you can't really question champs or previous world champs when it comes to this stuff. So we'll have to see if it does pay out for him. Few jungles being done. The gold mine, however, still very solidly in the GankStars Sirius favor. They do have that candy on it now as well. They're going to go from behind. They're looking for Mish now, and that's going to be the big charge in. I don't really know. Gabe Bizzle's going to get out of that one. Oh, he will. That last little swing around. He does take down the little dragon, but now Gabe, he has to deal with Flash X, and, well, Flash very likely is, nope. Getting denied. At the same time, Kestrel did go down during this fight, and this will be a 3-0 sweep for GankStars. Flash couldn't get the kill on Gabe, and because everything just kind of broke down as soon as Mish was out, it's an ace.
We talked about how important it's going to be for GankStars Sirius to get onto the back line of Alliance. And I guess that's one way to get onto the back line, is turn the back line into the front line. So they do a great job of positioning, and this is what GankStars is known for, is their positioning and rotations around the map. It came to fruition there as they were able to get behind Alliance to pick up that ace. But now Iraqi and Gabe are in trouble. Gabe is going to fall. They're going to continue to chase on the Iraqi, uses that Sonic Zoom, but gets picked off by the Spitfire from Mish. A great shot for the shutdown, and now that is going to be the gold mine also going over to Alliance. So they don't answer with an ace, but they do make some plays happen of their own.
I wasn't entirely too sure that Spitfire at the end of it there for Mish was going to get that kill, but, well, lo and behold, a nice 2-0 and the immense gold payout. That's going to be putting us back into fighting form here from Alliance. They might have lost out that turret, but they already had one anyways, and blow for blow, they're coming back 10-6, and the gold is basically, again, deadlocked between these teams.
And, like you said, it's about 300 separating the two teams. Actually, it just suddenly took a spike to about 500. That was a lot of gold picked up from both the lane being cleared as well as the Iron Guard contract bonus. But now Alliance coming in. Gabe is there for a potential afterburn, but it's not going to come out. That would have been a huge fight for GankStars if they had taken it. Obviously, they didn't know that I Love Joseph was still a ways behind. So now Alliance, they're the ones that are going to try and get some position. They need to be careful as they are walking into a brush blind, and that's going to be Gabe charging onto the back lines, but not hitting a target, and instead getting dropped very low.
Yeah, very low flash there with that silence as well. Raki and Cole Demake, they're really just trying to get onto this back line. I Love Joseph and Mish are really just kind of covering each other on this retreat. And this backwards kite, they lose out the Catherine, but they pick up 2, and they're looking for the third. Iraqi Zoro can't equalize, and that will be a 3-for-1 exchange. The double range aspect, they just didn't get rushed down. Gabe not able to stick to them, and at the same time, we saw them cover each other. I Love Joseph throws out a shot, Stutter steps backward. Mish throws out a shot, Stutter steps backward. It was just pure damage, and it paid off fantastically.
And that's going to be the third turret taken down for Alliance, and just like that, they are the ones with the gold lead. They're down 2 kills, but they're up 2,000. As they now grab the second minion mine as well. I expect that to be taken back by GankStars relatively quickly, but the gold mine is about to pay out because the Kraken is coming out. It's about 150 gold that they're going to get each, as we do see it's 158 for the decent gold payout, but Kraken is available. This is now going to be so important for both of these teams, and especially GankStars, because a Kraken getting picked up with your 3 lane turrets gone could end up spelling the end of the game. So they need to make sure that Alliance does not get this objective, but now they're going to be the ones checking this brush blind. Not a whole lot coming from it, though, as now Gabe is going in, and the fight is on.
Well, the shot landed on top of Raki Zoro, but he's staying into the back. The wait for it goes right through, and Mish with that Dragon's Breath is just not going to cut it. The counter ace comes out from GankStars Sirius. The shutdown bounties actually going to be coming into this one as well. A little bit now of extra gold into the pockets. Is Gabe Vissel going to be able to solo out this Kraken? He's going to do it by himself, or at least he's going to start it here. And Arakizoro and Cole Demake, they're pushing up this lane.
Yeah, this is going to get a lot of work done. The turret is down, so they get 1 turret. They're going to go grab the minion mines as well. Gabe Vissel is having no real problems with the Kraken at the moment, but Iraqi Zoro and Kolmik are going to come in to help finish this one off. A great fight there from GankStars, and almost a discombobulated fight for Alliance. First of all, they were down on infusions. There was double infusions for both Iraqi and Kull in that fight, and that extra damage really seemed to help turn it. But also the positioning for Alliance in that last fight, just they looked to be out of sorts a bit, as if they just really were not ready for a fight to happen there. And GankStars taking full advantage.
Well, 14-9, the gold's still pretty much within 1,000 of each other, and the Kraken is starting to do the slow march down the lane. We do got this 1 turret here at the choke, but at this point, I mean, as long as the fight happens, the turret should be pretty much guaranteed. The fight, however, is taking a while. GankStars, are they looking for a cooldown here? Well, if they are, they're going to be taking their time, because that Kraken is now on his deathbed. There goes Gabe Vissel looking for the stun on top of Mish, and I guess that's just going to be that.
I mean, still taking that 3rd turret is perfectly fine use of the Kraken, especially if you're going to get a fight right after, and they split Flash X away from the team and immediately go diving onto Joseph. Iraqi takes him down. Meanwhile, it is going to be Flash also taken out, and that's a 3-on-1, which is not going to go in favor of Mish, and this could be the game for GankStars. They've got over 20 seconds before anyone is up, and they have so much damage. GankStars Sirius will be taking very likely a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 as that 2nd turret does fall down. That will confirm the game in their favor. So despite having a couple of aces for themselves, Alliance not quite able to pull it together at the end of the game.
GankStars Sirius pulls ahead in this